Awesome. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to this full deep dive training on the Wild Soul Freedom Matrix. Are you ready to have some fun today? So, as we get started, welcome to each and every one of you. Becky, yay, you made it. Welcome to each and every one of you that has made it here live, and I see you guys logging in one by one. Woohoo! So excited to have you here. And also, let me just say a welcome to anybody who is catching this as the replay. I know I've had several people ask, will there be a replay because I cannot be here live? Totally understand. So for those of you that didn't make it live, and for those of you that are here live, you will all be receiving access to the replay for a few days, so you can revisit all of the stuff we're going to do today, redo the activation, and take the work even deeper as you come to understand more and more. So who is excited? So to start off, welcome and hello. I'm absolutely honored and so excited to be here with each and every one of you. And just a couple of points of housekeeping before we dive into the juicy stuff. If you are here live, go ahead and say hello. Introduce yourself. Some of you are already doing that over in the comments, and I see you all. So get active, right? Because one of the really fun pieces of being here live, and one of the really cool elements when you are here live, is that we get to interact. And I am totally somebody that when my audience is engaged and excited and sharing their ahas and asking questions and letting me know what they really liked or related to or answering my questions, I just want to give you more. When that happens, it just is like, it lights me up and I just want to give you more. So be active, right? Share, get vulnerable, let yourself be seen, let yourself be heard. Let's make this an exchange, right? This isn't some boring college lecture where I'm the expert at the front of the class and you have to listen to every word that I say and you better be taking notes, right? This is meant to be fun, because did you know that if you are having fun when you are learning something new, then it is much more likely to really lock in and stick in more deeply into the core of your being, meaning you'll lock it in and you'll remember it, which means you'll be able to use it later on, right? So give me a hell yes if that just sounds like a good thing. If learning and fun mixed together sounds like a positive, right? And hi, Heather, see you. Becky, your dog walking. Aiming to catch all of this, no worries. And if you have to hop on and off, totally understand that too. I thought you would just love some of what we're going to talk about today. Candace is here, yay. Ramona, yay. My boo is here, awesome. So the other piece of housekeeping, we are going to be going deep today, right? We're going to be talking about all kinds of stuff. We're going to be talking about grids and dimensions and your higher self, and I don't know, sometimes Jesus makes an appearance, sometimes aliens make an appearance. And so what I'm asking for is your permission. I'm asking for your permission to fully express myself freely, and whatever comes through, whatever wants to be said is said, and that you just take what feels good for you and leave the rest. If you love something I say, take that, integrate it, apply it. If there's something I say that doesn't resonate so much, that's okay too, right? Because again, what I'm doing here today is just sharing the highlights of my experience and what I've learned and information that I've been channeling in over the past couple of months, which is one path of many that can assist you. And if you take it and you integrate it and you apply it, can absolutely assist you in calling forth your soul purpose, accessing your soul gifts, and really just becoming who the fuck you are meant to be. Now, the other little piece that I want to ask your all permission for is that, yes, I'm a little bit quirky, and sometimes I say some strange things. I have a weird sense of humor, and I've been known to get really excited and drop some F-bombs for emphasis. I also sometimes might talk a little bit fast when I get excited. And so what I ask of each and every one of you is to also just show up and be authentically you. And so do I have your permission to just be my fully expressed weird self, share with you this knowledge and information that I am so passionate about, and that you're just going to listen along, have fun, take what feels good for you, and leave the rest. Yeah, whoop, whoop. Give us a hands up, right? So is that all okay with you? Give me a yes over in the comments if that all sounds okay with you. If it's not, then I don't know, we might be on the wrong webinar. But that's okay, right? That's totally okay, because I understand that I am not for everybody. And that's okay too, right? For sure, for sure. Yay. Hey girl, awesome. Cool. More of you are jumping in. Yay. So exciting. Good stuff. So what we're going to be talking about today is just, it's so powerful and so potentially life-changing. And like I said, if you really take it and you apply it and you integrate it, you will begin to see massive shifts in your life. Because I personally believe that each and every one of us has beautiful, brilliant gifts. And I believe that the way we're going to heal the world and create the world that we all dream of is by connecting with and honoring those gifts, calling forth those gifts, right? That's just my belief. And here's the thing, right? We're going to, like I said, we're going to be talking quite a bit about, dimensions and grids and codes and your higher self and your soul and these different pieces. And what I would love from all of you is to, if something that I say, you're like, what is she talking about? Ask the question, because I would much rather take the moment to explain it to you when we're in it and we're working about it. Don't feel like you're supposed to know what I mean with everything that I'm saying, because it was only just a few years ago that some of the stuff I'm now teaching, I didn't really know what it was, right? And now it's just been coming through so strong and so fast, and it's become something that I have a working understanding of. However, there was a point in time when I had to learn it too. And when I was learning it, oftentimes I was learning it on my own. There wasn't a whole lot of people talking about it or openly teaching about this stuff. So I had to wade through a lot of kind of bullshit. Like some of it was really fluffy and out there. Some of it was really good. And I had to like dig through all of the misinformation that was out there and find what I found to be true. And so I have no problem with you asking questions. If there's a term or something that you're like, wait, what does that mean? And so I highly encourage each and every one of you to ask questions, no matter how silly you think they are, no matter if that little part of your ego is in there whispering that you're supposed to know that. So do I have everybody's commitment that you will ask any questions for any concepts or words or phrases that I speak about? And you're like, what does that even mean? You can either ask the question right then in the chat, or we'll also have a few minutes at the end where I will ask you all if you have any questions, and please feel free to fire away with those then. So give me a yes over in the comments if all that sounds good to you, all right? So here's the reality of it. As humans, we are so much more complex than we knew for a really long time, right? Because all of this new information is really only coming to light and being understood in the last like decade or so. Now, I know that people have been working with and talking about this stuff through the 70s, through the 80s, through the 90s, right? Like everybody that woke up in the psychedelic revolutions of the 60s and 70s, some of them stayed in this, and I know that they've known it, right? And these are the people that were always kind of ostracized out on the fringes of society as hippies and fringe dwellers, right? And I know that they've known this stuff, but now, right now it's becoming like, it's cool. We can just talk about this. And this is where there's 5 phases of wild soul evolution that we're going to touch upon today. And that first phase of the whole evolution process is an awakening. Now, each and every one of us may have had our own individual awakening at a different time, right? Give me a yes over in the comments if you know you've had moments in your life where all of a sudden you quantum shifted and all of a sudden you understood things that even just a few years ago you didn't understand. Maybe you overcame something that had been tripping you up for a really long time, right? Maybe you just became a totally different person with totally different perspectives, right? Edie, I am woke girl. Yeah. That's the awakening. Now, like I said, each and every one of us has had an awakening, I dare say, right? And if you feel like saying yes over in the comments, please do. Individually, right? But what I'm speaking of now is collectively, there is an awakening happening. And this is why There has never been a better and more powerful time for each and every one of you, each and every one of us, to be doing this work for ourselves, to be taking this journey for ourselves, because now is the time. Collectively, Earth is shifting, right? Earth is undergoing a massive shift, a massive healing. And that's why we see all of the crazy weather events happening, all of the events playing out around the globe that seem scary and out of control. They're not. It's just that the Earth is shifting. And as humans, we have a choice to shift with it, or we're probably going to fade out of existence, right? I don't claim to have all the answers, but I do know that if you apply what I'm sharing with you today, that you will begin to have an entirely different experience with your time here on Earth. And it will begin to expand to places that you may not have really ever understood that it could expand to before. And that's where it gets really fun and really exciting. Because this is where, when you think back to when you were a kid and you remember all of your dreams and all of the things that you wanted to do and all of the things that you thought were possible, this is where they actually start to become possible. And that excites me, right? So what I'm sharing with you today is the work that I do on a deep soul level with my Wild Soul Freedom people. And several of you that are on here, a lot of you that will be joining this, everybody who's doing the full program with me is going to have to watch this training to kickstart the program. So what we're doing here today together is like, this is not just a typical webinar. This is not like a webinar you may have been on before where I'm just trying to sell you on something the whole time. Today is about you receiving. Today is about you receiving upgrades to your mental body, where I'm going to share information with you and your mental body gets to have an expansion. Upgrades to your emotional body, because you're also going to gain some upgraded software around your emotions, and you'll learn more about what that is in a little bit. And then, of course, the activation that we're going to do, which is all about soul purpose and divine freedom, right? Some of you may also have been on the first training that I did in this, and that's okay, because every single one of these trainings is different. Because it's not, like I said, this isn't your typical webinar. This is not a scriptured, manufactured process where I'm blah, blah, blahing my way through some stuff, and then at the end, I'm going to try to sell you something. That's not what's happening here, right? Today is about you receiving. Today is about you getting activated. Today is about, boom, Candace, you quantum shifting into a version of yourself that has a completely different perspective, and that opens up a whole new timeline for you, okay? So clearly, I don't have time today to give you all of the answers or to go as deep as I go with my people when I work with them for 6 months. However, what I am giving you today is a very powerful foundation and a start, right? This stuff, it's a journey. It's stuff that takes time to master. And in that way, this is where I'm a little bit different from a lot of coaches too, because I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I have some quick fix secret system that's going to change your life overnight. I am here to tell you that I have a full system for wild soul freedom and personal evolution and calling forth your soul purpose. And if you choose to engage with that on a deeper level, that's great. The choice is there later on for you. It will change your life, but it is something that takes time and a journey and a commitment from you. And what I'm offering you today is the foundational aspect of that. But I'm going to keep it real with you and let you know that even what we're doing today is just a start, right? So everybody give me a yes, give me a hell yes, give me a woohoo over in the comments if that resonates with you, if you get that, and if you understand that what I'm offering you today is a start, right? It's a foundation. And I'm not telling you that what we're doing today is going to solve all your problems. Yes, yes. And just understand that if you want more, as we're talking about this, and you want to go deeper, like I said, that option will be available to you today. But like I said, this is not a sales webinar. Put your credit cards away. You can't buy anything today. I just want you to listen, relax, and receive. However, I will offer you at the end of this, if you are feeling called to want to know how you can work more deeply with me, I will share a link with you. And that link is simply to book a short 15-minute chat with me where we will get to know each other, and I'll tell you more about how I work, and we'll go from there. But for today, you're just getting activated and you're getting received. Sound great to everybody? Yeah, cool. Is that cool? Good. So let's get into it. And the fun part is that I have some slides to share with you. So let me just get my slides up. Present. There we go. All right. Everybody can still see me, right? Everybody can see the slides and everybody can see me. Cool. And I got my chat. I love to receive. That's right, right? Open yourselves up to receiving, because I dare say that everybody watching probably has a bit of a problem receiving, right? Like, we go through life and we give and we give and we give. Especially give me a yes in the comments if you definitely resonate or identify with being highly sensitive or being an empath, or just know that energetically maybe you do identify as a healer, right? And knowing that you have a tendency to give and give and give and give, but then when it's time to receive, maybe that's not flowing so much, right? Becky, yeah, an empath, sensitive healer. Yes, totally. Yes, 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 right? Yeah. And this is the story of life for so many of us. And this is where we're going to be talking a lot about, because that give and receive cycle, that's something that's programmed into our coding. And we're going to be talking more about what that coding is and what it looks like. And what we're really here to talk about today is a full system upgrade, right? Not for your phone, not for your electronic device, because how often, do you guys notice that like software upgrades, we got to upgrade our phones? Like, it seems like constantly, it seems like every time I turn around, my iPhone needs a software update, right? There's a new thing because it's fixing bugs, right? So tell me over in the comments, when you do a software update to your electronics, what does it do? Right? When our operating system needs an upgrade, or we decide to get a new TV or a new computer, why do we do that? Right? It's because the software updates fix bugs, for one, right? Like, that's the big thing. When there's like a bug or a glitch in some software and you do the update, usually the update fixes that glitch. So what we're talking about today is a full system software upgrade for you. Right? Not your phone, for you. Because here's the thing, right? We often go through life, and because nobody tells us that we have this capacity, right? Because we're only just starting to understand that we're quantum, we're infinite, like we're multidimensional. There is so much more to what's going on than just us here in the 3D. And just like in the same way that if you try to operate, an iPhone 1, which, have you guys like seen an iPhone 1 compared to the new iPhones? It's like freaking yay big. It's like this tiny little thing. And if you try to operate it, it probably wouldn't even have the RAM capacity to support what we're doing with our phones these days, right? Give me a yes if that resonates, if you're getting where I'm going with this. And so what I would love for you to reflect on is, when was the last time you gave yourself a software upgrade? Because here's the thing, right? Success in anything is 80% the energy and mindset, and only 20% strategy. So if it is 80% mindset, and I just need to make sure, sorry, that I'm recording this. Yes, okay. I just had like a moment of, did I hit record? So Helga, boom, never, right? Oh man, I'm jumping out of myself, help. So 80% is that software. 20% is strategy. Yet, what do we find ourselves doing the way that we're taught to live? What do we find ourselves doing? We find ourselves looking externally over and over and over again for the answers. Tell me how to do this. What do I need to do? How do I fix this? Right? We get so caught up in strategy. Like, for example, if you're wanting to change the way your body looks, right? And you decide that you want to lose some weight, what's the first thing that you probably do? Either look to your diet or go and join a gym. Am I correct? Right? The problem with this is that changing the diet and going to the gym are two external things. That's strategy. What if you started looking at the energetics, the mindset, what was going on in your core programming, in your energy, in your chakra centers, right? In your quantum field? What was going on there that was resulting in extra weight here in the 3D? Maybe it's the opposite and you feel you're too skinny and you can't gain weight. Your body doesn't feel good and it doesn't feel vital. Again, what do, right? We start taking supplements. We look for external excuses as to why our body is feeling the way that it is. Instead of going within, looking to the internal, and understanding that when we shift things internally, in the energy, in the mindset, on the quantum, that's when we start seeing sustainable results here on the physical. So when we approach the changes we want to make from the physical level, it's like going backwards, right? It's like, okay, I want to get over here, but I'm going to go all the way down around and like over here. It's like taking the long way around. And oftentimes it won't equal in sustainable results. All right. And so what I'm asking you to reflect upon now is, what programs are you running? And we're going to be specifically talking about 4 pillars today, right? We're going to be talking about the 4 pillars of Wild Soul Freedom. And those 4 pillars are body, mind, emotions, and spirit or soul. And because the thing is, right, when you imagine a table, what happens if a table leg, one leg of the table is too short? What's going to happen when you place a glass of water on that table? Right? It's going to like go like this. And forget it. If all 3 of the legs are all different lengths, what's going to happen then? It's going to be one screwed up table, right? So those 4 table legs are the 4 pillars that support everything that I am sharing with you today. And Wild Soul Freedom, what Wild Soul Freedom is truly about is that it's a return to your authenticity. It's a return to your power, your potential. It's a return to who the fuck you are, right? And so what I'm sharing with you today is the Wild Soul Freedom Matrix, which is the foundation of my full Wild Soul Freedom program. And because it's the foundation, it's the perfect place for you to get started. So this is where it all begins for you, right? So give me a yes in the comments. Let me know in the comments if you understand what I'm saying when I'm talking to you about programs that you're running. And these programs that you're running, for instance, right, on the level of the body, in the root chakra, we have core programming, coding that is going to determine how safe we feel in the world, right? It's going to determine if we feel supported. It's going to determine our relationship with money, right? Let me know in the comments if you have ever had an issue with money. If you know that in your life, you've had periods of time where you felt unsupported, or you've struggled to call in abundance, or you've felt like the people in your life don't support you, right? Big time. Ramona, yeah. Yes, 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 right? Helga, big time. Yeah. This is the root chakra. And so the programs that we're evolving out of are these very old, outdated programs that are so coded with scarcity and lack and struggle, right? Can everybody relate to, at some point in life, having the idea that everything has to be fucking hard? Like, where did we ever get that from? I mean, I know where we got it from, but let's just like step back for a minute, right? Like, we have this beautiful planet that we live on, this beautiful, abundant planet that grows and gives us everything we need to thrive. Yet here we are, oh yes, I know it. Here we are as humans living out this reality that's like, oh, it has to be a struggle and I have to work so hard. And if I'm going to make money, it's going to be hard. It's going to be a struggle. Now, for any of you who have gone down the road of getting into your own business, you'll probably really relate to this. If not, you may just see it in your relationships or different places in your personal life, right? That like, if you're going to make a lot of money, it's got to be connected to like a lot of hard work, right? Or that your relationships have to be really hard work, or you have to really show up and you're just always giving, right? And there's just all these stories that we have. Now, these stories came from somewhere, right? They came from somewhere. And what we're going to talk about today is where they came from and how you get to choose new stories, right? So give me a whoop whoop over in the comments if you are ready for some new stories in your life. If you are ready for some new software upgrades. If you know that you've got some areas of your life that need some fine tuning, maybe they need a new channel. Maybe they need an upgrade, right? Like maybe it's money, maybe it's the work that you're doing, maybe it's a relationship with others, maybe it's a relationship with your body. Yeah, I like the double hands emoji. That's the perfect emoji if you don't want to type out whoop whoop, right? Claim it, right? And so when I'm asking, what I want you all to understand, right? When I'm asking you these questions and I'm asking you to say yes or give me the whoop whoop or interact, that's me asking you to claim it for yourself. Because I can lay out the buffet all day long, but you can only choose what you're going to come over here and take off the buffet, right? Because I'm not here to force feed it to anybody. I don't do that. I tried that in the first year of my coaching. I was trying to wake up all the people who didn't want to wake up. I was like, you need me. They don't need me. It's my ego, right? So now I'm just here and I'm talking to the people who are already woken up and who are ready to receive this stuff, okay? And this is where I very quickly want to just share with you these 5 phases of wild soul evolution. And what I'm going to do for you today is also, when I send you all the replay to this, I'm going to share some of these slides with you. So I'm going to share with you this slide of the 5 phases of wild soul evolution so you can refer back to it. Because it's really helpful to be able to look at this and know where you're at, and so that you can understand, oh my God, yeah, there's a map. Oh, this actually does make sense. Like, I'm not alone. I'm not the only one going through this. And that's why who this is for you if you're anywhere on this. If you've awoken, if you're in awareness, if you're in action, if you're moving towards alignment and expansion, if you're moving to true freedom, perfect. If you're pre-awakening, this probably isn't for you because it's not going to resonate. And that's okay, right? Because please get another piece of the wild soul freedom evolution is moving into that place of non-judgment, of just letting everybody live wherever they are. Makes you feel emotional, Helga. Yeah, that's when you know, like that's hitting your soul, right? Because emotions are communicators. And I really want you all to understand that. And we're going to go deeper on emotions in a little bit. But feelings and emotions are your soul communicating with you. And so when you awaken, it's where you really start to remember who you are, right? And you start feeling that pull. And then you very quickly move from awakening to awareness, which is where you start realizing that it's not the world that needs to change. It's you. You start seeing the patterns, that comfort zone starts getting way less comfortable. And that's when you have a choice to move to action. Right? The problem is when you don't move to action, it starts to get really painful really fast. And you guys are going to start to relate to some of this. Before we talk about that, I want to share a story with you all. All right. Meet Mary, Jessica, and Ann. And some of you may have met Mary, Jessica, and Ann before. However, today, Mary, Jessica, and Ann are taking a different journey. They've got a different story. Yeah, Heather, aha, boom, right? So Mary, Jessica, and Ann, and let me know in the comments, these 3 little girls, and no matter if you're male, female, whatever, right? It doesn't matter here. Which one of these 3 kind of really stands out to you? Is it Mary over here speaking her truth and screaming in the rain? Is it Jessica in the middle making her mud pies and just, fully being grounded in life? Or is it Ann who's just fascinated by life and all that is it? You resonate with the whole table, Helga. I like it, right? Because we do. We all have a little bit of Mary, a little bit of Jessica, and a little bit of Ann. You see, and all 3 of these beautiful souls were born, right? And when they were children, they just knew, right? They knew that life was magical. They knew that they were wild. They knew that they were powerful. And they knew that anything was possible. They also knew that this experience on earth was meant to be fun. It was meant to be lived to the fullest, right? They knew that they were here to do cool shit. And they knew that they were going to do awesome things and laugh and cry and get dirty and skin their knees, right? And they knew that they were powerful. And as they started to go through life, things started to happen. They went to school. They had experiences that hurt them. Sometimes adults screwed them over. They were forced to sit in uncomfortable desks for hours on end at school, learning all sorts of subjects that were just boring. They would get in trouble for touching stuff. Oh, they'd get yelled at if they spoke out of turn, right? Everything just had to be perfect. Jessica wasn't allowed to play in the mud. Mary wasn't allowed out in the rain. They were always trying to make Anne focus on boring tasks. And the programming began, right? The programming began. And as they went through life, they found themselves as adults. Mary found herself working in an office where she was so busy. Her life was busy. She was important. She was also always stressed out. Jessica found herself, after an awakening, she found herself bouncing back and forth between awakening, awareness, and action. And every time she got close to taking action, her fears would get a hold of her and she'd run back. And so what she was doing was looping around in this no man's land of between, remember, awakening, awareness, and action, awakening, awareness, and action, because she was too afraid to take action. She was too afraid to commit because she had all these core programmings inside of her that said things like fear, 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 and what if you do this, and what if you fail, and don't do it. And that got really painful. Now, Anne, on the other hand, Anne decided not to let her programming get the best of her because she woke up, right? And she became aware really quickly that her programming, maybe it wasn't true. She started to question, right? She had this feeling deep within her, like, I am here to do something. And no matter what Anne did, no matter what job she took, no matter how much money she was making or wasn't making, no matter where she traveled to, no matter what relationship she was in, she was like, there is something missing. I am meant for more. And Anne refused to give up, right? Anne refused to suppress that voice that was coming from her heart. She went on a mission. And in her mission, she went on all sorts of journeys here in this realm. She worked with shamans. She worked with healers. She learned energy work. She went on yoga retreats. She started to expand into the quantum realm. She met some light beings. She opened herself up to her guides. And her guides gave her something called the Wild Soul Freedom Matrix, right? Her guides taught her about the 4 pillars to Wild Soul Freedom. And she began to implement these 4 pillars in her life, right? Because she listened to her guides. When she hit that phase of action, she then skyrocketed into balance, expansion, right? She started moving into the unfuckwithableness. She got it. She could see the bigger picture, right? Life became a conscious co-creation instead of a struggle. She very quickly moved into true freedom, right? Where her inner badass was unleashed. She was authentically her. She didn't give a shit what anybody thought of how she was living her life, right? She started to give her gifts to the world because she was able to transmute her emotions. She was able to reprogram all of those old bullshit paradigms that she had been told about needing to fit in and needing to play it safe, right? Her emotions no longer tripped her up. Her fears no longer got the best of her, She wasn't afraid to invest time, energy, or money into herself, right? And so she locked in the frequency of true freedom. And then she went back and she tried to tell her sisters, right? She tried. She was like, oh my God, Mary. She's like, you guys, I have to share this with you. She tried to tell Mary and Jessica. She tried, and they didn't want to listen. Because Mary was over here, like I said, Mary hadn't even woken up yet. Mary was like, I got my 3D life. I'm good. I'm busy. I'm important. Everybody in my family needs me. All I do is run around doing shit for everybody else, but I'm busy, so that means I'm important. Now, Mary could never slow down, because every time she slowed down and the call of her soul started to pipe in, it got too painful. So she just kept herself working and working and working and working till the day she retired. 5 days after she retired, Mary died of a heart attack. She didn't fulfill her purpose. She never got back to being this little girl that she was. She never got back to unleashing that truth that was inside of her. Jessica, on the other hand, remember Jessica is our muddy, earthy, troublemaking sister, right? Jessica probably had it the hardest because, like I said, Jessica woke up and became aware, but Jessica didn't want to take action. And when Anne would come around and be like, but Jessica, come and let me teach you this stuff. Let's do some chakra work. Let me teach you about your body pillar, your mind pillar, your emotional pillar. Jessica continued to choose fear over and over and over again. And the more Jessica chose fear, the more isolated she became. And the more isolated she became, the more painful it got. And no matter what she did, she couldn't break free from that. She couldn't find her way back to this little girl because she wouldn't take the action that scared her. And needless to say, Jessica also lived her life meaningless. She lived it inside the box. She never got back to being her true self. She never gave her true purpose to the world. She never found freedom. She never checked off all those things on her bucket list. But for Anne had a happy ending, right? Anne had a happy ending because Anne applied what she learned from her guides and the light beings that taught her how to increase her consciousness and reprogram her field and call in new software upgrades, right? And Anne went on to be 842, right? Anne is living in longevity. Anne is still with us. Anne is here teaching us and guiding us and showing us the way. And Anne is one of the beings that I have had the honor of channeling through so that I could give you the Wild Soul Freedom Matrix, because all she wants is for each and every one of you to know how fucking magical and powerful you are. And she wants you to know that these little girls inside of you, or little boys, right? Or little persons, whatever you identify as, all this is waiting for you. Whatever it is that you want is waiting for you, right? I created this slideshow because I love the beach and I love being free and I love travel and I love hanging out with my husband. I love living my purpose. This guy with his dogs just lit me up because, I mean, who doesn't want a car full of dogs, right, boo? Right? And of course the money, because money lets us have impact. So what I want to know from each of you that is watching now is, who do you relate with? Who stands out to you as a child, right? Coming back to the three girls, which one stands out to you? And as the three adults, which one stands out to you? And in those 5 phases, where do you feel like you are? So what I would love to hear from you in the comments is who you most identify with, who you're being, who you think is inside of you, and what phase of the 5 phases you believe you're currently in. So yeah, I love it, right? She sounds like a honey badger. She is, right? Anne's a badass. I feel like a mix of Anne and Jessica. I'm awake, I'm aware, and I'm working on myself to have the courage to take my step into action. Awesome, Becky. And I know you're taking some action. And just remember too, everybody, right? There's always more action to take. There's always another layer to unlock, and we can always go deeper. And there's always another layer of evolution. That's what's beautiful about the quantum field, is that it's constantly expanding. So as you evolve, more potential becomes available, which is really, really cool. So half Jessica and half Anne. So I'm hearing a lot of people kind of relating with that Jessica, like maybe being afraid to take the action. You've been married, now Jessica, headed to Anne. Heather, I love that you can see that. Beautiful. The dog on the left with its tongue hanging out, that's the one that stands out to me. So what I'm here to offer you all today is the way that you get to shift from being that Jessica into being that Anne, right? Give me a fuck yeah in the comments if you know you're ready to be Anne, if you know you're ready to call forth everything that's waiting for you and you're ready to just unleash your magic, right? Because that's what it's all about. That's what we're here to do. And so very quickly, before we move into our hows, what I want to share with you is dimensions. Because I am going to be talking to you guys a lot today about 4D and 5D. And see, as you see, right, this is three-dimensional reality. Here we are, we're talking, this crystal exists in three-dimensional reality. It's got texture, it's not flat, right? When you're living in a two-dimensional reality, and I don't mean that you're going to be physically living on this piece of paper, but if you're living in 2D consciousness, here you are, right? And if you're living in 2D consciousness, you're in this box and you can't see a way out of this box. Because in 2D, all you know is that you can go forward and backwards. And oh my God, there is a line in front of you and a line behind you. So you can't move. But what if you suddenly evolved into 3D consciousness, right? And this is where most of the world is living in. Now you in a cube because you understand, oh wow, look at this. Oh, I can go forward, I can go backwards, I can go up and I can go down. But what do you do in 3D consciousness when there is a wall above you, behind you, in front of you, and below you? Because remember, the illusion of 3D is that there's only 4 directions, right? Well, 6 really, up, down, forward, backwards, left, right. But if you're in a cube, there's walls all around you. This is where Jessica, she was stuck in her cube, right? She realized, oh, there's more. But she wouldn't take the actions that were going to show her the way out of the cube, the way out of the illusion. Anne knew the way out of the illusion. Anne understood that the way out of the illusion was to evolve her consciousness beyond the 3D, beyond the illusion that there's only left, right, up, down, forward, backwards. Oh my God, I'm in a box. I'm in a mime. I'm in a box, right? And I'm stuck. These creepy pantomimes. And so when you allow yourself to move into 4D consciousness, you understand that there are more directions. And first and foremost, the first direction to go is within. By going within, you're going to access so much more than you ever knew was possible, right? And this is where you really get to start seeing, oh, this is coming back to remember that 80% energy and mindset and that 20% strategy. 3D consciousness is all about strategy. It's all about the external, what can I do, working really hard, forcing it to happen. Remember Mary, working really hard, forcing it to happen. Right? As we shift to 4D and 5D, we understand that by going within, we find all the answers and that there is more available to us than we ever knew was possible. And that what we were yesterday has nothing to do with who we're going to be today. Right? Because every single day you get to wake up and create who you're going to be, but you have to choose it. Right? And so to further paint this picture for you, I'd like to share this photo with you. Do you guys think this frog is real? Like, is that like a sculpture? Or is it a drawing? What do you guys think? I'm gonna take a sip of water while you wait for your answers. Anybody? Come on, is it real or is it a drawing? He's pretty cool. I'd like him to be real. I like that answer, Edie. And I guess it could be whatever you want it to be. He's a drawing. But do you see how realistic this drawing is? Because it's drawn, Ramona, boom, drawn. I'd like it to be real, but he's a drawing, Becky, my artist, right? Is a drawing. But do you see how something drawn on a piece of paper can look so three-dimensional and real? Because it's an illusion. This is the power of illusion. I'm sharing this with you because I want you to see the power of illusion. Aha, Heather. Seems really real. Seems like I could reach out and touch it and grab it and hold it. Right, Edie? And so the 3D world that we're living in has a lot of illusions that are telling us what we can do, what we can't do, who we need to be, what's possible, what kind of money we can make, how hard we have to work to make it, whether or not we can turn our gifts into, you know, a purpose, and can I really make money doing what I love? So these, because that's the construct, Heather, right? That's the construct of reality. That's the grid. That's the grid that I speak of. But today you get the opportunity to move out of that grid and move in to a more expansive grid, a grid that is more full of truth, right? A grid that you get to choose who you're going to become. Right? The grid where you understand that there are multiple realities playing out and you get to choose who you're going to be. And you get to recreate yourself starting right now, starting today, if you so feel called to do that. So I'm asking each and every one of you that are here, whether you're here live or watching the recording, what are you going to choose for yourself? The illusion, which means you'll keep in that loop, right? You're going to be the Anne, the Jessica, looping around, not taking action. Or if you choose the new grid and the new reality, you're going to be asked to take some action. You're going to be asked to do some things, to start practicing some things, to start applying some things to your life. And then we go from there. Right? So that's the essence of multidimensional living. And that's where we really find success, right? So when you have these 3 pieces and those 4 pillars, right? So when you apply this, right? The path to soul purpose and divine freedom, when you apply your 3D strategy and action, the 4D consciousness of activating your chosen reality, and the 5th dimensional support of your soul GPS and support team, and you overlay that to the pillars of body, mind, emotions, and soul, that's when you just fucking create worlds. That's when anything becomes possible. Whatever you dream of becomes possible. Right? So how does that sound, right? So what we're going to do today is we're going to be diving in now to the hows of it, right? We're going to be talking about what the Wild Soul Freedom Matrix is. And like I said before, right, this is the foundation of the full Wild Soul Freedom Shift program. This is a program that I spent 6 months breaking down with my people. Today, I'm offering you the foundational introduction of it. I cannot give you everything in the amount of time we have today, right? I'm going to give you the things that I feel that I channeled in, that I was guided to go deep with you on today, because I felt into the energy of the people that were registered for this training, and this is what I felt was needed. So we're going to go deep on what we can today, and the rest will be waiting for you when you're ready, right? But this is the whole matrix as a whole. And you see the 4 pillars of body, mind, emotions, and spirit, right? And the first piece of the matrix is the body pillar. Remember, Anne was so successful because she received the guidance of integrating everything she learned into all 4 pillars. She started with her body, right? She activated the body code, the body pillar. She recoded her root chakra abundance, right? You'll see over in this top right corner, root chakra abundance upgrades, dissolving lack and scarcity, activating 5D abundance, right? She got in there and she just got rid of all those codes and programming that no longer served. She wiped out the illusion and she recoded herself with potential and possibility. She went deep on her health and wellness coding, right? She looked deep into what her beliefs and her stories and her narrative were about her body, about her health, about her wellness, about what was possible. Remember, she's 800 and something years old. She's going strong, right? She's got longevity on lock. That comes from revisiting what you believe about health and wellness. And then the third piece of the body pillar is the identity evolution codes, right? Let me know in the comments if you have ever found yourself feeling stuck as a version of yourself that you feel like you've outgrown. Like you find yourself acting in ways or putting on an identity when you're around certain people. Like, have you ever like gotten together with your family when you haven't seen them in a while, or some old friends, and all of a sudden, yeah, give me a yes in the comments if you can relate to this, right? All of a sudden you find yourself acting in a way that you haven't acted in like forever. Yeah, totally. Like when I go home to New Jersey, all of a sudden like my Jersey girl comes out. All of a sudden I'm like talking about, I'm talking in ways that I haven't talked, and I say it's just ridiculous, right? Because there's this identity. And this is because we have identity evolution codes. And sometimes when we don't give ourselves permission to move through these codes, we get stuck and we keep repeating the same identity. And the root chakra is so important because it's the foundation of everything, right? And if we do not recode in that root chakra, we will remain stuck. If we do, and we do it correctly, then we can create anything, right? And you see, Mary, remember Mary wouldn't even wake up because Mary was living in survival in her root chakra. She wasn't upgrading anything, right? And that's why she was just looping and staying in that place. And remember what happened to Mary, right? She died 5 minutes after retiring and didn't get to even enjoy her retirement. And she certainly never got back to who she truly was, because that's what happens when you live in survival and scarcity. Think about that. Right? Think about that. And this is why, right? We cannot create over and over and over again. I have gotten to work with people who started off working with me and they were in a little bit of survival and scarcity. And through the work that we've gotten to do, as we've dissolved those survival and scarcity codes and recoded, especially at the root chakra, we've begun to create completely different realities for them. Right? That's not me doing that. I'm just the guide. I mean, each and every one of you, that's worked with me, you know the things you've accomplished, you know what you've unlocked, right? From anything from manifesting money to better jobs, to better relationships, right? To really calling forth your gifts and remembering who the fuck you are, getting back in touch with your creative aspects, right? Yeah, Becky, totally. Yeah, I've seen you grow so much. So many of you, I've seen you grow so much. Right? Now, we've been talking a lot and I've been sharing a lot and teaching a lot with you. And that brings us to the second pillar, which is mind, right? I've been sharing with you and teaching with you so that so that your mind can come along for the journey. Because if your mind does not come along for the journey, it's going to resist everything. So in the mind pillar, that's where we really start to recode the third eye, right? To bring in focus and clarity, to move energy so that it's not bouncing around in your head, crazy, distracting, giving you the monkey mind. It's where you really understand that you are a conscious co-creator of your reality. You get to manifest. You get to choose what you're creating, right? That all comes from working up here in the mind pillar with your upper chakras, right? And then, of course, activating your aligned purpose and strategy. So let me ask you something. Have you ever worked with affirmations? Anyone here ever worked with affirmations? Tried working with affirmations? And did they work for you? I would love to know in the comments if working with affirmations has ever, you love affirmations. Yeah, cool. Like affirmations are cool. I'm not bagging on affirmations, but okay, boom, Ramona, they didn't work. Would you like to know why? And this is where a lot of coaches and mentors are, they're getting it wrong, but not like from a bad intention. They mean well, but they're getting it wrong because they don't have the whole picture. Right? They're getting it wrong because they have one leg at the table. And when they're teaching you affirmations, and I see this a lot with manifestation coaches, like just go write out these affirmations 555 times. But because they don't know how to do the work with the emotional pillar, the body pillar, and the soul pillar, they're just trying to work with you on the mental pillar by giving you these affirmations. Sometimes they bring in the emotional pillar, but they don't have the whole picture. They don't know that they need all four legs. They don't know that they need movement. They don't know that they need the soul and the 5D and the galactic team help. So maybe they teach you to work with the affirmations and, oh yeah, really feel it. However, if you don't get into the body pillar, you're not going to be able to feel the depths of what we're speaking of. Yeah. And so that's why only working with affirmations will not do the job. You can, till you're blue in the face, repeat affirmations. But if you do not lock it in on the body pillar, the emotional pillar, and the soul spirit pillar as well, you're only ever going to get little bits of results, right? And I mean, look, when I teach this stuff in the full program, we spend 6 weeks on each of these each of these pillars, right? That's how like huge these topics are. But the activation we're going to do today is going to blow you wide open in the soul spirit pillar. And I'm about to go deeper with you all on the emotional pillar because that's where I feel like it's really needed, right? So we touched on body, we touched on mind because I want you all to understand that. I want your mind to come along for the ride. Now we're going to go a little bit deeper on the emotions pillar because I felt that that was what everybody needed. Now emotions, right? Emotions are energy in motion. Yay. No worries, Heather. Let me know in the comments if you've ever struggled with your emotions, if you've ever gotten stuck in your emotions, if you've ever let your emotions derail you, if you've ever been challenged by your emotions, if your emotions have ever freaking just overwhelmed you and taken over your life, right? This is the story of my life. And this is why I'm so passionate about the piece of emotional alchemy, because my emotions ruled me. I am a Scorpio moon, right? It means I feel things very deeply, but it also means that I hold it all in. And I get like murderous over it, right? And actually, just to share a little story with you, I had cancer at the age of 28. I had Hodgkin's lymphoma. I was like 27, 28. And the reason I had this cancer was because I was storing, I didn't know anything about emotional alchemy. I didn't even know how to express my emotions, let alone be authentic about my emotions. So I would just stuff it all down, stuff it all down. Ramona, you're a Scorpio. You feel me, sister, right? I would stuff the emotions down and stuff the emotions down, living in scarcity, storing it all in my body. So you see, I want you guys to understand, I'm sharing this with you because this is the real life example of how the body, mind, and emotional pillars play into real life. I was like this. I was living like this because I was in survival. I was in scarcity. I was in anger. I was in rage. My mind was a shit show. I had no focus. I was full of stress and anxiety and control. On the emotional side of things, I was angry, but I was so cut off from my emotions. I was stuffing it all down. I was developing problems that finally the red flag was cancer. Because my soul, my body was like, we can't take anymore. We have to do something about this. Wave the red flag. Cancer. Sometimes that red flag looks like pain, right? Sometimes it looks like chronic illness or dis-ease or dysfunction. And the thing is we have to learn to listen, right? We have to learn to listen to what our body is telling us, what our soul is telling us, what our mind is telling us. But what do? Remember Mary, we don't listen because we're in the illusion. So we try to numb it. We reach outside of ourselves. We get busier. We look for things. We look for substances. We look for people. We look for jobs. No worries, Candace. Helga, yeah, right? Ramona, yes. So much so that I went to stay in a monastery once for 8 nights and came back a different person, but I was soon back on the dreaded treadmill. That's it. You just nailed it, Helga. Real life example, right? Because you did, when you were in that monastery, you tapped into it. But what happens? And you come back to life because you didn't change it internally. You tapped into it, but you tapped into it through an external source, AKA the monastery. I used to do the same thing when I would travel. I would tap into this joy and this possibility when I would visit these magical places all around the earth. Then I would come back to my life. The moment I came back to my life, all of my identity codes would activate and I would turn into the overworking, frustrated, angry, bitter, annoyed person that I was. And I was looping around for years in that. And then I woke up, right? Then I woke up and I started to become aware. And I didn't always take action, right? I did a lot of awareness into action, into balance, and then I'd go back to awareness because I would stop taking action because I didn't have all the information yet. But now I understand that I had to have the experience that I did so that I could teach this to all of you, so that when you're doing the same thing, I could help you identify that and serve as the mirror to show you where you're at, right? I had to have the experiences that I had in all of these areas so that I had the wisdom to be able to teach this, right? So that I fully understood the 5 phases of wild soul evolution. I had to really live in all the phases. I had to know what it felt like to want to take action, but be afraid to take action, right? Because how else can I guide someone who's afraid to take action into taking action unless I've been there, right? How can I show you what comes after action unless I'm living it, right? And now my action, it's like, it's vital. The first couple of hours of my day are devoted to my action, right? My practices, my meditations, my journaling, reading, whatever it is. Maybe I go out in the yard, right? Maybe I play with the dogs, whatever it is that I feel like I need. This isn't about developing militant routines that you have to stick with no matter what. Like I see people doing that with meditation or yoga, and it's like, oh my God, I have to do my yoga. And they become all militant about it, the way they're eating, their exercise. Right? So what was started off as a beneficial thing becomes this other thing that becomes like a source of domination and control instead of being a source of expansion, right? Does this make sense? You guys loving this? Give me a yes if you're loving this, if you're having some ahas today, right? And so this emotional piece is so important because your emotions are what are going to fuel you forward. Your emotions are your guide. Right? And here's the thing to realize, right? This isn't about spiritual bypassing. Emotional alchemy is about acknowledging and honoring whatever comes up, right? I spent a few days after the Libra new moon being triggered as fuck. Like shit was just pissing me off. And every time it happened, I would go within and I'd be like, okay, what is this about? Right? And I was able to identify some of it was mine. Some of it was ancestral. The point is by identifying and moving through it and tagging it and being able to move beyond it, it no longer has to derail me for days. I don't have to go out and get high over it. I'm not eating to numb it, right? Because I understand how to transmute things on the spot. And a big part of that alchemical process comes from being activated on the 5D level in your heart chakra. You have to have self-love and compassion. Right? Because if we don't, we can't transmute anything. The heart is our center to transmute because it's where we can meet anything with love and compassion, but only if we've activated the love and compassion for ourselves, right? And that's where life just gets freaking beautiful. That's where life gets amazing because that's when you're then really moving into your authenticity codes and activating full soul authenticity. Like, remember me at the beginning of this webinar telling you, you know, sometimes, hey, we might talk about Jesus. We might talk about aliens, right? We might talk about some weird shit. Sometimes I'm this way, right? Because I am me. And I am no longer living in a place where I am afraid to be me or I'm playing small. Give me a yes in the comments if you have ever in your life found yourself playing small out of fear right? Agreeing with people who maybe you didn't agree with because you were afraid that you were going to get rejected. I know, but we both were, right? Feels like you, Helga. Yeah, yes, yes, yes. Makes sense. Yes. Right? This is why. It's because we haven't activated the true authenticity codes, the wild soul authenticity codes, which all have to do with speaking your truth and being you and being fully you, not giving a shit what anybody thinks, right? Not in like a mean way, in a way, oh, I'm going to go trash the world and I don't care what anybody thinks, because that's not true soul authenticity. And this is where I'd like to share a quote with you, right? Because this is what authenticity is all about. The authentic self is the soul made visible. Just sit with that for a moment. The authentic self is the soul made visible. What does that bring up for you? How does that make you feel when you think about that every time you're not being authentically true to you, you're locking a piece of your soul away? What I want you to understand is your soul is like when you think back to yourself as a child. Can each of you remember a time when you looked at life like, oh, it's so amazing? Maybe even as an adult, you visited a place in nature and you were so overcome with awe at this place in nature. For me, it's anytime I look at the ocean, at the mountains, at the palm trees, at the moon, like it's everywhere now. But if you can relate to looking at something on the earth and just being awed at the beauty of it. And now I want you to understand that that same intelligence that created that landscape, that ocean, that mountain, also created you. When you look at the stars and you're overwhelmed with just, oh, it's so beautiful. That is you seeing the beauty of yourself. It's a mirror. Everything is a mirror. Right? It's not just about having our negative qualities or our quirks mirrored back to us or the things we need to work on. When you see beauty in something, when you see expansive brilliance in the night sky or a beautiful flower, that is nature mirroring back your own beauty and brilliance and potential. And that is who you were here to be. You were here. Your soul chose to incarnate in this life so you could bring that part of yourself forward and give it to the world. That just, oh God, I just feel like all the feels when I'm saying that. Like my heart chakra is like blasting out. I'm Care Bearing y'all right now. Hope you can feel that. Because that lights me up, right? That is why I do what I do. Because I want each and every one of you to have a conscious understanding and awareness when you are seeing the beauty in the night sky or a flower or an ocean or whatever, another person. It's just a mirror. And that you have that within you. That is your soul waiting to birth forth in authenticity. And that when you choose your wild soul authenticity, that's what you're going to embody. That's how you get back to being that little girl who's not afraid to dance in the rain or get muddy or stare at a butterfly or roll in the grass or play with the dog or laugh inappropriately or be loud or create your art or sing, speak out of turn. Who cares? To be big, to be huge, to be sparkly and be seen. Helga, that's perfect. I've been watching the sunset while I'm listening to you. So isn't that perfect, knowing that while you're watching this beautiful sunset, it's mirroring back to you your own beauty and potential. Oh, Becky, it feels lonely and dark not to wholly accept myself and allow my soul freedom for authenticity. Doesn't it though, Becky? Right, Helga? That where you said too? Yeah, it does. This is what like my life was when I realized that I was the one. Have you guys ever seen that meme of the little, there's a little Asian kid and it looks like somebody's stepping on him with a boot. Have you guys seen that? And then it zooms out and he's got his arm in the boot and it's him holding himself down. That's what it's like. That was me last week. We all do it, right? We go through life and we imprison ourselves. We imprison that beautiful little loving, expansive soul that just wants to play and touch things and hug people and pick the flowers and roll in the grass and play in the rain and get dirty and celebrate and laugh and dance. And every time we conform and we try to fit ourselves in boxes and we play by everybody else's rules and we choose fear, we freaking lock ourselves away a little more. And like Becky said, that gets lonely and dark. And that, my friends, is what is at the root of addiction and depression and dis-ease and chronic illness and autoimmune disorders and suicide and compulsions and people causing other people pain. That's what's at the root of it, that disconnect. Because when we're disconnected from our soul truth, we don't know how to live in the joy and the play and the fun of the world, right? But I'm not here to make this depressing. I'm just here to paint the picture that you get to unlock that cage whenever you say. You get to choose. And that's what we're about to do, right? Because that's what the Wild Soul Freedom Shift is all about. That's what this whole Wild Soul Matrix is all about that I'm sharing with you. That's what the activation I'm going to share with you is about. And oftentimes, coming back to the emotional alchemy piece, oftentimes to really unlock that cage, you know what's keeping it locked? Is it's all the past stuff and the stories and the traumas. So when we learn how to do the emotional alchemy, and this is why emotional alchemy is a really big piece of the Wild Soul Freedom Shift, right? I do a full like quantum soul timeline journey in the Wild Soul Freedom Shift because it resets you on a soul blueprint level. And right now I'm learning even more cool stuff, right? From some of my coaches. I'm learning all kinds of new stuff that I can do on the quantum level that will be making its way into the Wild Soul Freedom Shift as I, get comfortable and am ready to share those pieces with the world. It's just going to add to what I'm already doing, right? And this is where we get to come now to the soul and spirit pillar. Because like I said, that beauty that is being mirrored out to you is your soul. It's your spirit, right? And this is where we access the freedom grid. This is where it starts to become, we dissolve the illusion. Remember the frog? This is where we dissolve the illusion. We activate divine freedom and we dissolve the illusion. That's how we move, right? We tap into our soul GPS, which means you start listening to your own inner guidance. Have any of you ever found yourself asking everybody else in your life to tell you what to do? Struggling to make a decision, not knowing what's best for you, going against your gut feeling? Have you ever gone against your gut feeling and then been like, I should have listened to my gut feeling? Give me a yes in the comments. Come on, fess up. You guys still with me? Give me a yes if you've ever gone against your gut feeling and then been like, I should have known better. My gut told me. That is your soul GPS, right, Becky? Ramona, okay, yep. We all done it. So really funny story. When I was struggling with addiction, I had no idea I was intuitive. I didn't know anything about being intuitive. I didn't know anything about intuition, clairvoyance, clairsentience. I didn't know any of this. I didn't know that I was gifted. I didn't know that I was sensitive. And every once in a while, when I'd be going to get whatever I needed for the day, I'd have a feeling in my gut. And I didn't understand it was my soul GPS, right? And every time I went against that feeling, something bad happened. I got arrested. I got robbed. The substances that I got weren't any good. And I would say, I really got to start listening to my gut. Oh, that gut feeling. So it's like, even in my addiction, my gut feeling, my soul was looking out for me. Like, do you guys get that? Even in the depths of the darkness of my life, my soul had my back and kept me out of jail. Now, how is that for a best friend? Right? Do you want that kind of relationship with your soul where you understand your soul is always looking out for you and that you have a full galactic team that is waiting to celebrate you and guide you? They're already guiding you. You just don't know it. But when you get to the place where you start acknowledging them and co-creating with them, like, they are stoked. Because here's the thing, the dimension that they exist in, there's no time and space. So it's not like they're sitting in time the way we understand time. It's a little bit hard for the mind to grasp. Don't try to understand it intellectually. Just feel it out and think, okay, maybe I can get with that, right? And so what we're about to do is going to open you up to all this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be channeling in an activation for you that I am co-creating with my soul and my galactic team. And this activation is going to assist you all to activate your divine freedom grid, right? We're going to begin to dissolve some of the control codes, and we are going to connect you to your soul purpose. We're going to open those doors and reconnect you to that part of you inside, that little person, girl, boy, person inside of you who isn't afraid to laugh and dance and play in the rain and get muddy. So are you ready? Right? Do you want the activation? Give me a yes in the comments if you are ready to get activated. Very quickly. Yes, 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 yes. Woo, woo, woo. Because I am ready to activate you all. Activate me. All right, so take a sip of water if you all want. What I would love for you all to do is get up and shake it out a little bit. I want you to get up and move for just like 30 seconds or so. If you can't move, just envision yourself moving. Just get up, shake your joints, right? Create some space, because this is gonna help you. We're gonna get in there. Whoop, whoop. Do a little dance, right? Activate that part of yourself who is ready, ready, ready. And what you're gonna receive, what you're about to receive, is a piece of what I do with all of my paid clients. This is the foundation. This is the beginning, right? And because this is how we change the world, right? And I trust and believe that each and every one of you, when you're ready for more, you'll come back. You'll be here. You'll find me. But I know that right now, if you are here live or on the recording, then you are ready for this activation. And that is why I was guided, because this is my work, right? It's not my work as a teacher to only assist the people who have the time and money to invest in my programs, right? I want to help way more people than that. Like, I have goals of helping 5,000 people over the next year. Now, that's not all going to be in people working with me as clients, right? Because I'm one person. So this is the way I get to help that many people, by sharing these activations, right? By activating you. So once you guys are all shooken out, what I would love for you to do is sit down and get comfortable. Okay? And I am just going to turn off my video. So I want you guys to get comfortable. I'm gonna put on some music in the background. And I want you to settle in. I would like for you to keep nothing crossed. That was a bit loud. Everybody awake? I want you to sit back. I want you to relax. I want you to open your body up. Cool, we're just starting, Helga, so right on time. I want you to settle in. And I want you to just begin to breathe, closing your eyes, uncrossing any parts of your body. You can be laying down or sitting up. And as you slowly close your eyes, take a nice deep breath into your gut, filling up your belly, letting it expand, creating space, exhaling out. Breathing again into your belly, letting it expand out, exhaling out. Again, breathing into your belly and exhaling out. Good, now breathing into your heart space, filling up your chest, creating space, activating your heart brain, exhaling out, inhaling into your heart space, and exhaling out, inhaling in, and exhaling out. Now inhaling into your brain, your mind, third eye, and exhaling out, inhaling in, and exhaling out. One more, inhaling into your mind and exhaling out. Now inhaling to your gut, your heart, and your brain all together. Inhaling and exhaling. Beautiful. Settle in. Feel the support beneath you, of the cushion, of the couch, of the floor, whatever you're sitting on or lying on. Feeling the support beneath you. And just open yourself up to now receive. And I now request and I call upon my soul family, my galactic team, my guides. And I also invite in any light guides of the highest light of everybody who is joining this activation, live or on the recording, through space and time, to enter into this space. I request that the consciousness, the crown chakra consciousness of Jesus Christ, flow into this space now, channeling in beautiful, divine, purple light, golden light, white light, to assist us with galactic expansion and healing. I request that each one of the beings, each one of the souls here on this recording or live, now be placed into a beautiful grid of divine freedom, requesting that each one of the beings on this activation be plugged into the divine freedom grid. And I'm calling on my own guides from the upper dimensions to come into this space. Those who specialize in dissolving and decoding, we're requesting your presence now. At the same time, activating this beautiful new root chakra template, calling in my 8th dimensional light being, recoding friends, to plug into the root chakra of each of the beings on this place and begin to clear, to dissolve, to wipe out the old codes, the old grids, the lack, the scarcity, the false templates. Wiping, 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 clearing, dissolving, dissolving, dissolving. Clearing space. Removing. Dissolve, dissolve, dissolve. As you work to dissolve those old grids, the old codes, the illusions of the 3D, the illusions of the fear and the scarcity, I request that our 5D friends come in and begin to recode, to activate at whatever capacity each of these beings is now ready and available for. Whatever upgrades they are ready for, please upgrade and reprogram, recode at the level of the root chakra, beautiful, divine abundance, divine freedom, safety, security. And as each of you listening to this plugs into this new grid, just begin to drop your focus and your awareness down to the base of your spine, the area of your groin, your perineum, your hips, the areas of your root chakra. Just drop your awareness and begin to notice. Just notice. Point your awareness. Notice, see what you see, feel what you feel, hear what you hear. Just notice the space in your body around the area of your root chakra. And then begin to notice the space around your body in the area of your root chakra. And just notice what's coming up for you. Because as these codes get dissolved, you may feel, you may notice, you may sense things. Just trust. Trust and believe that the light beings and the souls that are co-creating with us right now are holding space, supporting, and divine protection. I'm actually also requesting that we now call upon 12D shields to activate, to protect, to hold space, calling in any protective archangels or other protective beings, of course, the consciousness of Jesus Christ, divine protection around this space, holding you all safe while this work is being done. While this work is being done to you, while you are upgrading, you are safe, you are protected, and your 12D shields will mirror back anything that is unwanted, any lower light, anything that is attracted or being called towards your light that does not have your highest good in mind will be deflected. And I request that these upgrades to the root chakra template of each of the beings on this call continue through the night, and that they continue to upgrade every layer as each of these beings accesses more of themselves and activates more of themselves. Make these upgrades automatic. Plug them into the automatic upgrades of the divine freedom grid, divine abundance, security, and support. Thank you. Thank you. And I would like to request just the golden ray, calling upon the golden ray to really come into this space and just fill and heal and transmute anything, wrapping and holding each of these beings to shift through this process with beautiful ease and grace and flow. And now just begin to float up. Find yourself in your mind's eye, focusing into the awareness of around your third eye, your forehead, your crown chakra. Feel the space around your head, the space in your head. Shining your awareness here, the gateways, the portals to the quantum field, the portal to the higher dimensions, your upper chakras. And just find yourself floating up, 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 up into your soul star, beyond your soul star, out into space, till you find yourself in your own quantum space. This is the place where you create from, beyond space and time, beyond the illusion of the 3D, where you get to call forth whatever reality you choose. This is the place where your truth, your purpose, your magic is waiting for you. And from this day forth, you get to activate a new timeline. You get to call forth a new version of yourself, the version of yourself that you were always meant to be, that you were born to be, but maybe you forgot. And I would love for you to begin to envision a door opening up in front of you. And just notice, what color is the door? What does it look like? What is it made of? What I would like for you to know is that on the other side of this door, there is your truth. We're going to open it in just a minute. But knowing on the other side of the door that your full soul purpose, you in all of your glory, your truth, your power, your authenticity, all of the divine abundance, the divine health, the expansive truth of who and what you are is on the other side of this door. And I ask you now to just quietly, if you are ready to see what is possible for you, quietly say yes to yourself. Quietly say, I am ready. And on the count of 3, I would like for you to open the door. 1, 2, 3. Grab out, open it, and step through. Whoosh, step through, quantum shift, boom, lock it in. Good. Now look around. Look around this reality you've just stepped into. This is a fucking place where anything is possible. See what you see, hear what you hear, feel what you feel. Whatever you're experiencing is perfect, whole, and complete. Maybe you're sensing it. Maybe you just know it's there. Maybe you're having full visuals. Maybe this is completely unconscious, and that's okay too. Just trust and believe that it is happening. It is opening. It is unfolding. And you are now witnessing, whether it's consciously or unconsciously, your full-blown authenticity and potential. I would like for you to now explore this realm, this timeline that you just quantum shifted into. Look around. What do you see? What's around you? Explore. Don't be afraid to touch things, to interact with it. Now, I'd love for you to notice that you see a person up ahead of you. And as you start to move closer to that person, you suddenly have an innate understanding that this is you. You are walking up on yourself in your full-blown potential and power, the fully expressed you. What do they look like? What are they doing? As you gaze upon them, how do you feel? That's it. Just observe. What are they giving to the world? What are they contributing? How are they standing? Perfect. Now on the count of 3, you're going to step into that version of you. 1, 2, 3. Step in, lock it in, lock it in, lock it in. Notice, feel it. How does it feel to be in this version of yourself? Integrate it, integrate it, integrate it. Good. How does this version of you look out upon the world? I want you to spend the next couple of moments just immersing yourself in the essence of this version of you, this fully expressed version of you who is giving their gifts to the world. Immerse yourself. Lock it in. Good. Feel it in your cells. Store it in your bones. This is how you recode yourself. This is how you call forth a new reality. By shining your attention on this version of yourself, this full potential. And I want you to now connect with your heart. Call up feelings of gratitude, joy, bliss, excitement. What do you feel about this version of you? Like, how excited are you to see this timeline playing out? What does it bring up for you? What feelings, what emotions? Activate those emotions, bring them up, call upon the joy, the gratitude, the excitement. Maybe you're doing a happy dance, whatever it is. Maybe you want to let out a freaking yes, like a woohoo, scream, yell, dance, shit. Are you so fucking honored and excited and just humbled? Gratitude, filled with joy, awe, inspired. What feelings are coming up for you? Really just bask in those feelings. Store those feelings in your bones. Let them travel through every cell in your being. Beautiful. Lock it in. When you combine conscious intention with elevated emotion, you will create. It's the law of the universe. Now, from this point, from this place, I want you to now live your life as this version of yourself and notice, what are you doing? What choices are you making? Where are you going? Who do you hang out with? How much money do you make? What do you do with your time? What gifts are you giving to the world? How are you living in your purpose? Beautiful. And I know we could stay here forever. And now I just want you to float up above that moment, up above that version of you, up above and just before, looking down on this version of you, looking down on these events, looking down on this timeline. And I want you to choose that. Perfect. Choose it. Choose it on a soul level. Choose that for yourself. Lock it in. Good. Lock it in, lock it in. And before we leave, I would love for you to drop down and just ask this version of yourself if they need to tell you anything, if there's something you need to know, if they've got a message for you. And maybe that comes in words or a thought or a feeling or a symbol or an image. You may not fully understand the message right now, but just trust you're receiving one. Trust. Just receive. Beautiful. Now find yourself floating back towards your door, coming back through the door, leaving the door open because now this timeline is activated. That door is open. You get to shine your attention on this timeline anytime you want. And that is how you're going to call it forth. And then just drift back, find yourself floating back to the now, just above the now, coming back into your body. And just as you settle back into your body, just notice what feels different. And I'm going to keep you all plugged in to the grid that I've plugged you into, the healing chambers that I have you in, and the root chakra grid and the freedom grid. I'm requesting that each of the beings on this remains plugged into this for the next 24 hours so that they may receive whatever upgrades in the most gentle way possible that serve them at their highest. Requesting that this work continues over the next 24 hours for each and every one of the beings on this call. Requesting that they receive whatever downloads, whatever inspirations, whatever they are ready for. Beautiful. And when you're ready, just coming back now to the moment, coming back to the now. When you're ready, opening your eyes, looking around your new world with your new eyes and your new timeline. Welcome back. What I would love for you all to do also is please to get up and shake that out now again really quickly, because what you did was just called in a whole bunch of new energy. Tap, do a little tapping, clear that space, tap your joints, right? Shake it out. You guys can see me shaking out, but I can't see you, right? Even when I'm activating you, I access new energy. So I shake it out too. What I would love to know from each of you as you're coming back to the now, how was that for you? What did you experience? Take a nice sip of water. Have something to drink, right? Drink a lot of water for the rest of the day, everybody. That was essentially an energetic surgery. That was a galactic surgery, right? There are things happening to your field right now that will be creating shifts. So you want to rest. You want to drink lots of water. You want to be gentle with yourself. You might have the urge to journal. You might feel inspired. Listen to the call. Listen to what comes up. Amazing. Awesome. Anybody else? How was that for you? What did you love? What did you feel? What did you experience? I love hearing about your experiences. Your door was rainbow. I love that. Through the door you saw an eye. Oh, interesting. And what do you think that eye symbolized? What was that eye showing you? Peaceful. I love it. Amazing. Lots of colors. Yeah. So colors are really healing for each and every one of you. If you tend to see a lot of colors, it's just, especially because the energetic work that I do is related to the chakras, and the colors are very related to the chakras and, you know, the spectrum that we can see. So trust and believe when you see colors, right? It's energy. There's all kind, like the golden ray, the red ray, there's all kinds of color tones that come in to help us heal, right? As you activate or move stuff out of certain chakras, you may see colors. Yeah. Were you all able to connect with that version of you who was fully expressed? Were you able to connect with, or a version of you, right? Maybe on their journey to being fully expressed, just a version of you that was different to who you are before we started this, because now you've connected with that version of you. So you are that person. So there was waterfalls and green everywhere. Ooh, that tells me super earthy, like heart chakra. Yeah. Ooh, you were dressed so smart and you looked so tall. And it's really interesting that a lot of times when we connect with the fully expressed version of ourselves, we are often very tall, because what I want you to understand is this was energy, right? What you connected with in that space was your energy. So if you were seeing yourself as tall or bigger, that's because you have big energy. And that's what we've now activated so that you can start. It's your energy. Remember, 80% energy, 20% strategy, right? So I really can't wait to see as each and every one of you works with this, and you're going to get the recording so you can listen to it again. I'll put the timestamp of when the activation started. So you can just do the activation again, right? Take it deeper. And this is where, so let me talk to you about what's next, right? Because it's not just like, okay, activation and now you go on your way, right? There are some things you can do to really lock this in and support this, right? And I trust you all enjoyed it. I know I love leading it. So it's always really an honor when I get to do this for you. And remember, it's just the beginning, right? Because until you lock this new frequency in fully on all four of the pillars, right? You may find yourself going back to old timelines. You may notice stuff coming up until you fully close those down. Because I'm working on you in your root chakras, right? For divine freedom and divine abundance, there may be stuff that pops up. Just trust that if something pops up, it's just a distortion. It's just a trigger. You can acknowledge it, honor it, and choose something else. Just trust that it's all part of the process, right? Trust it's all part of the process. But what you can do is, for starters, making a point to each and every day connect with your soul, right? So that's your homework. Each and every day have a conversation with your soul. You can do that first thing in the morning. Just let your soul know that you're there. Just, hi soul, so grateful to be awake today. I'm so excited for this. So happy to do this. Whatever it is for you, just start building a relationship with your soul. The other piece is the abundance piece, right? The money piece. Divine abundance and divine freedom go hand in hand. So what I would love to see you doing also is beginning to build a relationship with the frequency of divine freedom and abundance. And that too, right? And so I have this crystal. This crystal is the 3D embodiment of my 12D abundance crystal, right? That I have activated through some work with my coach. Now, I was working on you all with this crystal in that activation. I like having tangible things that represent my galactic things, just like I'm the physical 3D embodiment of my soul. This is the physical 3D embodiment of my 12D, right? And I have different tools that I use as tangible manifestations of these galactic things that I work with, right? So divine freedom, divine abundance, etc. And that helps me sometimes because I talk to freedom, right? I talk to abundance. I talk to my soul. So if more than anything, if you would start making a practice of connecting with your soul every day, activating your gratitude and tuning in to this version of you that we activated. That could mean you do the activation. That could mean you just sit quietly and look at a beautiful scenery and talk to that version of you, right? Where your attention goes, your energy flows. So each and every day you're going to have a choice of where your attention is going. You can choose to focus on the past or focus it on the stuff you have to do or focus on all the things that aren't going right. Or you can focus on this version of you that we've activated. And the more you focus on that version of you, the quicker you're going to activate them in this here and now reality. Does this make sense to you all? Right? And so if you really want to like speed up this process and you really want to activate this stuff, that's where the full wild soul freedom shift might be the right move for you. Right? If you're serious about taking this full identity journey and you really want to lock this in faster, that's where you might want to think about taking the full journey with me. And again, you know, we can talk about what that looks like, right? We're not selling anything here today. I'm just dropping that out there for you to begin to consider. You'll know, right? If it's a full body yes. I don't want anybody in it who it's not a full body yes for, right? So if you're saying a full body yes, I want to go and I want to learn from her, then that's cool. I'll give you the link in a few minutes to have a chat. But what's next is that you're going to receive an email from me. That email is going to have, or the recording of this activation, it's going to have your little homework assignments that I just gave you. And it's going to have the graphics of the full Wild Soul Freedom Matrix and the 5 phases of Wild Soul Evolution, right? Because I want to share those with you. I want you to have those as resources to refer back to. You'll have access to the recording for the next 5 days. I would love if you revisited the activation piece. I would love if you did the homework and let me know how it was going, right? And so the homework is talking to your soul, talking to freedom, tuning in every single day to that version of you we just activated. And of course, some of you, right? Like some of you are going to be just ready to fully immerse yourself into this whole multidimensional living thing, right? You're going to want to do the Wild Soul Freedom. And if that's you, what I'm going to do right now is just leave you a little link in the comments. And while I'm getting this link, do any of you have any questions or anything? I would love to hear what you got from this. I would love to hear what, where is my, sorry guys. I would love to hear what was your favorite part of this. And I would love to hear what ahas you had. And I would love to hear any questions you have. That's the goal of being here live, is that you can ask me questions. And if you are one of the people who are just, you want to do this and you want to move forward with this, then again, I'm going to leave this link, right? If you loved what we did here today and you want to have a chat about what it would look like for us to work more deeply, then this is for you. You can go there, you can book a call, 15 minutes. We're going to just see how it feels, get to know each other. I'll talk to you about some of my options. And so what I encourage you to do from here is watch out for my email, do the homework, and really begin tuning in to that version of you that we just activated. Yeah, you'll have the replay for for 5 days. And I've given you everything that I can give you in one session, right? Thank you all for hanging out with me for this 2 hours. I love each and every one of you. Thank you all who watched the recording, right? But to really go deep, to really take this journey, to really lock this stuff in through body, mind, emotions, and soul and spirit, right? To really access the full matrix of wild soul freedom, then book a call and let's chat. And if it's appropriate at this time for us to work together, to do this with me by your side, then we'll talk about what that looks like, right? Because that would be fun. I mean, I know personally, some of you I'm already working with, and the rest of you, I would love to work with you. And I also get that now might not be the time, and that's cool too, right? It's totally cool either way. Because I love all of you. And I would love if, for those of you that did the activation, if you loved it, if you feel like you know somebody who would benefit, please share it. Again, they can register and they'll get, I'm going to be sharing around a replay link. So you guys will have the replay link. So you can share the replay link with anybody you feel like could benefit from doing this activation, because this is how we're going to change the world, right? I love all of you. So in closing, yeah, what was your favorite part? Share with me what your favorite part was. Share with me what ahas you had. What did you get from this? What moments of expansion? And of course, if you have any questions, drop those in the chat as well, right? And just please know that regardless of where you are in the scale, like you're ready to work with me deeper, you're not, just know that this is just the beginning, right? We started something here. We created a new timeline. We shut down some old timelines. Yeah, Helga, I love the beginning as it made me feel like I'm not the only one. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And regardless of where we are, there's always more work to do. There's always more work to do. Know that, right? As we look at each other and we think, oh, you're there and I'm here and I'm here and you're there. We all have more work to do. It doesn't matter where on the scale we are. The meditation was amazing. The chakra system, you describe it beautifully. Oh, Ramona, thank you. That means a lot to me. I feel seen with that because the chakras are my jam. I'm very passionate about the chakras and they make their way into all the work that I do. I've got courses, I've got books, all about chakras. So I really appreciate you saying that. So it doesn't look like anybody has any questions. And I will also send out the link to book a call in the replay email for anybody who does want to have a chat and see what it would look like for us to play and work and expand together into wild soul freedom. Doesn't look like anybody has any questions. So I will close. I will release each and every one of you. I thank you so much for sharing this space with me. Remember, be wildly you and have it all. That is where it starts. Just remember that piece of you inside is waiting for you to live in full expression. Much love and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye, everyone.